nothing strange. My eyes are set on being better things, and that will never change. My mind is free for a change. Nothing is clear, nothing strange. My eyes are set on being better things, and that will never change. My mind is free for a change. Nothing is clear, nothing strange. My eyes are set on being better things, and that will never change. My mind is free for a change. Nothing is clear, nothing strange. My eyes are set on being better things, and that will never change. My mind is free for a change. Nothing is clear, nothing strange. My eyes are set on being better things, and that will never change. My mind is free for a change. Nothing is clear, nothing strange. My eyes are set on being better things, and that will never change. My mind is free for a change. Nothing is clear, nothing strange. My eyes are set on being better things, and that will never change. My mind is free for a change. Nothing is clear, nothing strange. My eyes are set on being better things, and that will never change.
You are listening to Serenity Radio Network on Jerry Royce Live Worldwide at PositivePower21.org. We thank you for joining us. You can also find us on Elation Radio. Serenity is a Christian-based multicultural empowerment station that focuses on the mind, body, and spirit. The program specializes in bringing to the listeners the very best from the healing arts community on the subjects of self, health care, spiritual healing, and kingdom living. Serenity Radio is sponsored by the Serenity Weight Loss and Detoxification Program. To enroll, contact Michelle Edmonds, a.k.a. the Godmother, at 404-445-8579, or hit them up on Facebook at Serenity Weight Loss. The next voice that you hear will be that of our awesome host.
Hey, everybody. Commander's in the house.
Hey, Mark.
Is there anybody? Hey. David, you were supposed to be quiet until I introduced you. That's all right. You guys putting the cart before the horse, and that's okay. Hey, it's Commander. We're welcoming you to the Hour of Power. It's another Thursday. And I'm so good for you to see me. Well, hear me anyway. I am sporting my Wellness WarriorZ headgear today. If you could see it, you're more amazing than I am. If not, I'll just have to take a picture one day. Andrea, are you home?
No, I think she's still out.
She's still out. Tracy's here. Good Lord, that land up down under her is going crazy there. I was having a little issue with my internet right now, but the phone's working, and I guess that's the most important part. Let me just say oh, no, there we are. Everybody's here.
I'm here.
I figured you would be. You answered all my calls this week, but no, I'm just kidding. Somehow I got a little sniffle today. It's only on one side, so it's probably just a little bit of an allergy, and that's okay. We'll get through that, and we'll watch Milo walk by and bring his leash with. I know it's probably not hot Atlanta. It's not hot Harvard for sure. Somehow we're really feeling it, and I don't know, Tracy, do they have like a wombat that comes out, and if it sees its shadow, it's 6 more weeks or whatever in Australia? Because here we got this thing with a, no?
We have a wombat, but I don't know.
You don't have that theory like we have Punxsutawney Phil, the groundhog. He pops out today. I guess he saw a shadow, so we're kind of screwed for the next 6 weeks.
Hey, well, wait now. One news channel said he saw a shadow, but another news channel said he did not.
Really?
So I don't know what's going to happen.
All I know is
it is cold where I am.
It's bitter cold here too, and I would. Anyway, it's come to the point where we have to be ready for all these extremes in weather.
Yep.
We are seeing more extremes than just like gradual climate change or gradually getting warmer. Like 1 week will be kind of warm, the next week it'll be Freezing. Not cool.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I want to welcome you. Today we're going to talk about diabetes type 1 and type 2. We have a special guest, of course, David Sullivan, and I'll bring him on in a little bit. Andrea, I just wanted to lift you up, especially this week with the loss of your grandfather, and please let you know that a lot of people were thinking about you. Hope God's supernatural comfort came to you and your family, especially during this time, because I know there were some difficult decisions that were made as she was communicating with me during the week infrequently. I mostly just gave her time to be with her family, as we should. You know, she told me that she was tearful, and a lot of people in her family were not. And, you know, Commander used to not be a tearful guy because my dad used to tell me never to cry, but I found out it's a better deal when you let your feelings out and not keep them in. Yeah. And so I told my son, when he was growing up, I said, Mark, if it hurts, it's okay to cry. It's okay to cry. And that just, I believe that gave us a stronger bond, being a good papa and a good son. So in that respect, anybody that needs to be lifted up in prayer this week? I'd like to, Andrea, when you pray us in, to pray for Jeff and Sandy, please. Just a measure of comfort during a trying time for them. If you would lift them up. And if you have somebody, your family, and Tracy and David, if you got an extra measure that you need there, please let Andrea know right now so that when she prays us in, that we can offer them up in prayer. Yes. Hello.
Somebody
said,
fine on this end.
Can you hear me,
You're
Mark?
good?
Yes, we can hear you.
Who's there?
Hey, this is Rod. I wonder if you could pray for my upline in California. Her name is Joanne Delhar, and she had a tear in aorta.
Oh, that's
the other day.
That's terrible.
Pray
that's
for her.
Terrible. All right.
I don't know how it happened, though.
How did you get through on this line? I'm just like, wow. How did you get through on this line? This is usually this is just the host line. What's that? Everybody's unmuted right now? Okay. All right.
I just dialed the number.
Absolutely.
You did. That's awesome. All right. You guys got to take the show for about, you're welcome. You're welcome. Absolutely. I need to step away for about 5 minutes. Andrea, can you take care of the usual housekeeping chores, and I will be right back.
So I just want to start out this evening with a prayer that's going to be very special and very dear to my heart. We came to visit family members because of a hospital illness and ended up losing 2 family members during our visit. And so I had spent the past week with back-to-back wakes and back-to-back funerals. And it was an especially difficult time for me. I was surrounded by people who don't know what I know and aren't aware of what I am aware of. And I was not a part of the decision-making for their health. And so it was just a very difficult time for me, knowing that things could have turned out differently. And so I just want to ask God to just come and be with us right now, to just join us on this call. And God, if you could just let everybody listen, just feel your presence. If you could put your arm on their shoulder, or their hand, and just surround them with your presence. And I just want to bring to everybody, God, what you have given to me. You have given me everything I need, and that includes my health, and that includes the knowledge of how to care for my health, how to care for my body and my temple that you give them. And so I just want to lift everyone up who has listened to this call and ask that you use them in the world that listening to this call from. There's someone who knows someone who knows someone who needs your design for our body, your way of healing for our body. And I just pray people are reached and that all of those people are brought to you either through us here at Serenity Radio or Wellness Warriors Facebook page or seeking me out on Facebook or Mark out on Facebook or David is going to be speaking with us or Tracy. We are all just here to help you with God's grace and to bring you God's wisdom so that you can make educated decisions for your health and for the health of the people that you love and the friends that you have And so I just lift them all up right now to you, Lord. And I just pray that you just let them feel you rest with them. God, I just want to also lift up Jeff and Christy. We do not get to know the details of what's going on in their life because you know what they are. You know what they need, and you know their future. And your wisdom is better. Anything I can share with them to guide them. And so we just pray, Lord, that you bring people into their life that will bring your wisdom and your words to them so they can be guided through the situation that they're in. And we want to lift up Joanne to you as well. We ask God for divine intervention for Joanne. We ask God that you just reach into her heart and that with your fingers you feel her heart, Lord, that you just restore it, that it is a quick and speedy recovery, and that there are no complications lingering. I just pray for this for Joanne. And I just pray for everyone out there who is sick, everyone out there who is taking care of someone who is sick, who is ill. I just pray for just God's wisdom. He has designed a perfect life for us to live. He has designed the world to just provide us with everything we need to live abundantly and to live healthy and to prosper. And I can't pray enough for just God's wisdom to fall on everyone listening to this call and everyone they know. I just pray for your wisdom, that we follow your wisdom to our house. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
I would also like, while I have everyone's attention, and before I hand the phone back over to Mark, we're going to be talking about some really great stuff. And there's a lot of confusion out there about the topic that we're going to discuss tonight. And I want to make sure before we get heavy into all of this that everybody realizes that on this radio show we do not treat or cure disease, that we use our personal experiences that we have lived ourselves or that we have lived in helping other people to bring these experiences to you, to help educate you, that we use science-based and clinically verified holistic nutrition to support and promote the structure and function of the body, and that the statements or the personal opinions that you hear this evening have not been evaluated by the FDA. That the nutritional information that you'll hear on this radio show this evening is personal opinions and personal experiences.
Thank you, Andrea, very much for the prayer and for telling people that we are scientifically based, clinically verified, and things that we say and talk about here on the Wellness Warriors, it's the matter of fact that allopathic MDs don't want you to know because they want you to be sick so that you come back and keep coming back to see them. It's a sad state of affairs in the world. In healthcare still. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable that they keep doing that to us when they could unburden the world and have so many great simple things. They don't. And this week we're talking about diabetes. David and I just going to throw it back and forth for a while. Unfortunately for us, I suffered under the realm of the allopathic cloak for a while before I found out about, hey, I can get rid of it without medication. And it was before I knew Dr. Wallach when I became a type 2 diabetic, but I think that we'll just go in order, and I'll give a little history on type 1 diabetes. The first case, maybe 400 years before Christ, B.C., I'm going to say it that way, there was a Hindi document, and then one of the interesting things was when they first found out about diabetes that it was somebody who, farther back, 1552 BC, Egyptian physician. He did documented frequent urination as a symptom of a mysterious disease that caused people to lose weight. Also around that time, the ancient healers noticed they didn't have any way to dip urine to see if it was sweet, and they noticed ants crawling around these people's urine. So sanitation definitely wasn't what it was today. And so that's kind of like when they found that out. And David, you found out when you were how old? David Sullivan.
Hey, Mark. Sorry about that. It's pretty.
Did you need a Milo break? Is that what we're talking about right there?
It's pretty patchy over by me. I don't know what's going on, but I only hear like every fifth or sixth word.
Oh boy. So did you hear me talk a little bit about the history, brother?
Yeah, a little bit. So what I could add too is the Chinese medicine history behind it. And for a long time, they called it, what was it? It was thirsting and shrinking. Is what it was. It's called thirsting and shrinking. And it is related to the liver and spleen in the traditional Chinese medicine.
Yeah.
And is really also where the body holds emotions like anger and determination and motivation. And so it's really interesting to see that when diabetics are having a high or low episode, how lethargic they can get.
Oh, yeah, dude. Hands out, people, if you don't know me, I've been a nurse about 30 years. A lot of emergency medicine. I've moonlighted in doctors' offices and stuff like that. And what was interesting, D, was there wasn't so much type 2 diabetes when I started out doing my thing, man. So, but yeah, it's amazing. So you got the Egyptians noticing people peeing a lot and shrinking. And now we notice the Chinese. So it's like, an analogy would be the Great Flood. There was like 6 or 7 cultures around the world that wrote about it that were totally unrelated. So everybody was seeing it. There was only one way to treat it when I became a nurse, and that was with insulin. I don't know about you, Tracy. Tracy's also a nurse in Australia. We only used insulin at that point, and this is in the 80s. And then what happened, right? And David and I have known each other, I'll probably have 7 years now, and he's one of the geniuses here on the WarriorZ page. He's one of my resident geniuses for sure. Studying there at Bastyr University on the West Coast, become as an awesome natural physician. We're just praying that he gets into naturopathic school real soon. And he's doing his undergrad work apparently out there. And we're just a blessing that he got in there. So like I said, Dave and I met, and I had pretty much just gotten over type 2 diabetes, and David has type 1 diabetes. But how did that impact you, David? And at what age?
I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at 4, just after turning 4 years old.
Uh-huh.
And my mother, thanks God every day, that I wasn't younger, because I was just old enough to really be able to communicate well about how I was feeling, and not old enough to have routines yet about what. So,
but you had already learned to say no for 2 years. No, I'm just kidding.
So for me, I was diagnosed at 4, and I was later diagnosed. I think I was 5 or 6 by the time they diagnosed me with it.
I see.
They diagnosed me with a very specific type of type 1 diabetes, and it's called hypersensitive type 1 diabetes. And it affects less than 1% of type 1 diabetics.
And what did they attribute that to?
That's attributed to a combination of things such as frequency of non-epileptic seizures, as well as sensitivity to mood and blood sugar swings.
Okay.
And those were key factors in it. And at that age, I was very, very sensitive to even a quarter of a unit of insulin.
Wow.
Yeah. Now,
hey, you know, when you were 4, brother, you were just getting in another barrage of immunizations as well.
I was minimally immunized.
So your mom made sure. But yet at the same time, Dee, you know, everybody's, and I think you'll agree with me on this, everybody's sensitive in different ways, right?
So
you might have been.
Can I interrupt for
Hello?
just a quick moment? Can I interrupt for just a moment? I just want to make sure that I get, so you're type 1 diabetic, right? And
yes.
Mark, you're type 2 diabetic.
Yeah, well, I was type 2. But,
and lately I've been talking with a lot of people who have children the age of 8 to 16, and at that age, they're being told by their medical doctor that your child is becoming type 1 diabetic. So I've always had an understanding of type 1, you're born with diabetes, and type 2, you become diabetic as you live through life. And so can you clear that up for me?
I can help, and I'm sure David can as well. Yeah.
Yeah, who are being told
it's developed.
Thing.
I mean, my grandmother didn't get it till she was in her 70s, and what triggered it was pneumonia. So it was an immune response, and what we're seeing a lot of right now, and there's a doctor in the UK right now, Natasha Campbell McBride, that found out in kids that develop type 1, and they can do it at any time during their lifespan. It doesn't have to be, it's not from birth. I'm sorry, it's not. And I see it show up in kids that turn 11 and 7. You know, how devastating to come in the ER and have some symptoms and do some quick tests and like, oh my God, your kid's a diabetic now, you know, right? Amazingly, the body is amazing. You know that, Andrea. You know that, Tracy. David, you know that. Michelle in the booth knows that. And thanks to her, by the way, for helping us with all this tonight, that godmother up there in that hot Atlanta. A lot of times, we've talked about the immune system before. We talked about beneficial bacteria, transitional bacteria, bad bacteria, and stuff like that. Well, sometimes these bacteria that's affected by our immune system, or viruses, what have you, they mimic the beta cells in our pancreas, the ones that help out with the glucose, the insulin. It's an insulin. They attack them. All right, they attack them, and then we don't have enough insulin to utilize our blood sugars in an awesome way. So this mimicking is not a theory. It's amazing because, you know, everybody's immune system's in the toilet. Andrea, you're talking about 8-year-olds to 16-year-olds, and in general they're eating stuff that's gumming up the works or not giving them a healthy immune system, and then what happens? You know, things start to break. They just start breaking. And David's heard Dr. Peters say that you run out of nutrients and things break. Well, if you run out of good bacteria and stuff like that, they break too. So it's just not about anymore, I think, about the 60 or the 90 nutrients, the 90 essential nutrients. I think we have to add good, awesome probiotics to that mix. So any thoughts, Dee?
Yeah, there are a small circle of naturopaths, Dr. Glidden included himself, and myself as well, who are under the impression that type 1 diabetes is actually started from a lactose intolerance in the pregnant mother. And during the pregnancy, the mother doesn't recognize this. It's actually fairly difficult to recognize during the pregnancy. And first trimester, I'm throwing up and feeling nauseous. Well, that you're going to go to the doctor. Your doctor's going to be like, yeah, get used to that.
Yes. Or the baby's fetus is growing so much the first trimester that the uterus hasn't climbed up yet, and there's pressure on the bladder, and they figured that's why they're peeing a lot, right?
Right.
And it happens in the last trimester too, you guys, just to let you know.
So if you have adequate nutrition, you wouldn't necessarily have excess urination during pregnancy.
Huh?
Yeah.
Do you want me to hit that, Mark?
Hit it, brother.
Okay. Yeah, so having adequate nutrition would set the body up so that it was more flexible in a way. As the fetus grew, so too could the body adapt. Because health has two main definitions, and one of which is the ability to adapt to a negative stimulus without symptoms.
Right.
Right. And so we're using negative here as like a general. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It has to be a changing.
Right. Mm-hmm. Hey, the other thing in correlation with what you said about the mother and the baby, when the mother has a challenge, health-wise, immunologically, that the baby will give up some of its stem cells to help the mom. So then the baby's born at a deficit as well. And that's where I think Dr. Glidden and David and I all agree as well. So it's like baby born that's HIV positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Baby hasn't hit so many challenges other than one, HIV. So in the next month or so, that suddenly the baby seroconverts with the right, quote unquote, feeding the baby the right stuff. And I got to see that firsthand. I was amazed. So, but again, when the mom has a challenge, the baby will donate to the mom to help out.
I've got a really interesting story about a friend of mine, actually. His mother was a type 1 diabetic, but while she was pregnant, she didn't need any insulin. She didn't take any insulin. She barely needed to monitor her blood sugars.
Yes.
And she was totally fine throughout the entire pregnancy. About after 2 months, or what was it? I think he said like 6 weeks into each of her pregnancies, both with him and with his sister.
Yeah. Right about the time the baby's heartbeat started and all that. So that's pretty good. That's awesome sauce right there.
Yeah.
Mom and baby working together as early as 6 weeks. There you go, Warriors.
Let's back up for just a minute, just before, because some of the callers we're speaking with are not diabetes or.
You're breaking up, Andrea.
So when you talk about and that the mother does not talk about Mark taking insulin or you taking insulin, can you tell our listeners exactly what you mean by that? What is insulin?
It's, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Hang in there.
Okay. All right.
All right. Traditionally in the body, insulin's a hormone. So the body produces, I can't count them all. David, is there a finite number of hormones yet that we've discovered in the human body?
No. In fact, we actually have a variable complex where different humans will actually create different insulins.
There you go. So insulin's a hormone, but we need it to help. I guess you want to talk about the lock and key method, D, with the insulin and the cell. That's usually the best way to do that. So
yeah, I'm doing that.
Go ahead, brother. Take us.
Okay. And so typically what happens is you're going to look at a plate of food. You're going to start salivating, and eventually you're going to put it in your mouth and you're going to eat it, and you're going to start digesting it. And we've gone over digestion before, so I won't hit that too much.
Right.
But once the sugar from your food gets into your bloodstream, your pancreas is signaled by your endocrine system. And your pancreas is this really cool, yellow, globby-looking gland located roughly to the, I don't know what direction is that.
Say underneath the stomach, brother. Just say underneath the stomach and a little bit behind it.
There you
How
go.
about that?
Underneath a little behind the stomach. And so as the sugar is going through the bloodstream, insulin is secreted, hopefully at the same time with a good healthy pancreas.
Yes.
You're going to have equal secretions of insulin to sugar, and you're going to, once the sugar gets to a cell, that cell is going to want that sugar. But the cell's quote-unquote door is locked. Insulin needs to come in and act as the key to open up the cell to let that sugar in, to break that sugar down into energy.
Yes. Yes. So, and there's many of those doors that the insulin needs to unlock. So when you're type 1, you don't have the insulin to unlock that, and this sugar stays in your bloodstream. And David has been injecting himself, and it's not human insulin. It's usually from a pig, because they say they're close to us, and as far as our our configurations in life with organs and things like that, we're really close, and we're even close to monkeys. But I just don't think it's pretty cool that we had to harvest it from monkeys. But and they also so you have to, based on the amount of blood sugar, you have to take so much insulin, and then you have to do that, and you're pinching yourself to check your blood sugars, and you're pinching yourself, and you're injecting a foreign substance in your body. Okay? So your body's thinking, holy Christmas, you're getting invaded by that, but you really never have an allergic reaction to insulin that I've really seen in about 30 years. I don't think that I've ever seen that. So I guess they're doing a good job in that respect.
I would argue
although I know you would. I know you would. In general, David, in general. Hang in there, brother. Hang in there. So like David said, we need to get the glucose in the cell, not able to do it without insulin. And therefore, he's been injecting himself since he was 4. And so you were doing that all the way. And how did your childhood go?
My early childhood was pretty okay.
My
mom kept it under control pretty well, but I was in and out of the hospital at times with seizures, comas. It was hard some days just to function. The really hard years were my teenage years, really.
Yeah.
And starting with well, I guess to be fair to everybody on the call, I'm a pretty thin individual.
I was just going to say, you should let them know. David is not a large kid. Not at all. In fact, you would look at him and not say, you think he's the healthiest kid in the world. You would think he's the healthiest kid in the world. So you would know it. And then we met, and David, we hooked up, and we looked at what research Dr. Wallach did. We looked at what he was doing, and David, there was something out there called Sweeties, right?
Yeah. Actually, I was trying to wind up to all the problems I had before I hit that. Make it more dramatic.
I know. Oh, we could get you a drum roll. I'm sure Michelle's got one back there for you, buddy. She can bust out the timpanis and just make it happen. But, I'm going to move you ahead a little bit further because we're getting short on time here, if you don't mind. Probably won't be able to cover me this week, but that's okay because David's a wonder story in his own right. We're just glad to have him. So, Tom, how'd you come across good Dr. Wallach and methods and, of course, Dr. G?
How did I? Yeah. Okay. Purely by luck, actually. My mom had been tapped on the shoulder by Dr. Glidden while she was talking to Scott, another member of Youngevity, and he went, I heard you talking about type 2 diabetes. Here's my card. If you're interested, I'm giving a lecture tonight, and we can talk about how your family doesn't have to suffer from type 2 diabetes anymore.
Yeah.
It literally just pulled us into the world of Dr. Wallach, Dr. Glidden, research and naturopathic medicine. And something. Can I give away the big shebang?
Oh, absolutely. Go for it, brother.
Okay. And I had met Dr. Wallach and Dr. Glidden on the same day. It was one of Dr. Wallach's big Saturday night lectures, and it was a fantastic thing. And not 2 weeks later, I had put on 15 pounds, and I was 30 pounds underweight at this time.
Yeah.
I put on 15 pounds. I had gotten rid of my insulin resistance that I developed sometime around the age of 12 or 13. And once I started Sweeties, a couple of days after that, my insulin intake went down by half. In 3 days, went down by half of what I needed.
It's amazing right here, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Wallach's formulation of Sweeties helped David reduce his insulin consumption or injection by half. So therefore, he was only getting half the amount of foreign substance into his body, which was awesome. By combination of minerals and herbs in order to accomplish this. And David's been riding it ever since. I mean, he has challenges, but I'm always there for him. We get Dr. Glidden in there and to help him out. We get him through these things because it's never good to do it alone. It's never good to do it alone, and that's why we're here on the WarriorZ page, because we need to do it together. So if you're not on the Wellness Warriors page, it's WELLNESS WARRIORZ on Facebook. If you have a question, it's wellnesswarriors@gmail.com, and I hope to be soon up on wellnesswarriors.com as a webpage. So that's the way to get a hold of us. And David, even since when we first started taking Sweeties, remember when there was a pack that came out for weight loss, and they had a formulation to help blood sugar too, and Sweeties didn't contain cinnamon yet, did it? So what did? No, it didn't contain cinnamon yet.
Yeah.
If you remember, and then they added it because cinnamon is so impactful in helping people with sugar utilization. And at the same time, people's weights are climbing, and they're eating. What is it? I don't know what the recent stat was, but the most recent one that I remember is one person who's not conscious of their nutrition eats about 150 pounds of sugar every year. And for David and I and Andrea and Tracy and Michelle, somebody's having a lot of ours. there's a lot of ours going because there's no way that I can. There's no way that I can. So, if you need more information on how to get Sweeties and the ideas, please contact us at Wellness Warriors with the Z, of course, at gmail.com, and we will get you started and on your way. I mean, even if you're a type 2 diabetic where you're not requiring insulin, definitely that can be reversed. They proved it in 58 in the study that was published to all the medical doctors, the prestigious JAMA, Journal of the American Medical Association. It was published. You can reverse it. And a lot of times what happens is they improve your immune system and help you with your sugar utilization if you're a type 1 diabetic, as in David's case, beautifully with the half amount of insulin. And then you hope that your body grows new cells, replaces all its cells except for the brain and spinal cord every 7 years. So that's why you got to stick with it. Stick with it. Am I right, David?
Yes, you are, because I can tell you, I miss one meal. Well, maybe not so much anymore. But if I miss a day worth of Sweeties, I feel it. I feel it the next morning. And it's I feel it at night because my blood sugar is high.
And for me, David he's thin as a rail, and I was as big as an elephant, with type 2. And that's a growing problem, and that's why I had issues as a type 2 diabetic, and I never knew it. I didn't have the frequent urination or the hunger. Sure, I had some cravings, I think I did, and I was all about a whole big bowl of pasta with butter and parsley, because I think I like the sugar comedy. I was thinking it helped me take a nap. And little did I know that, suffer for lack of knowledge, even being a nurse and RN, that I was having issues. So it wasn't until, my body tried to adapt so well and I had so many issues and ended up in the hospital. They said, you got diabetes. I'm like, whoops. But they were able to control it orally with metformin. And I had not known Dr. Wallach yet, or Dr. Glidden. I had gotten a book by one of my colleagues, authored by a naturopath and a DO at the same point. And I followed their plan at first and was able to get off all my meds within about 4 months. And then I think I came to meet docs then, and Sweeties made it a whole lot easier because sometimes you still crave sugars until your body gets rid of that surplus. And, it just, as I was burning through the fats and all that and I went from 325 to about 235 from March of 07 to November, December of 07. And it was good to use the Sweeties because it made it so much easier. Little did I know I was just taking care of business, and things got more in balance along with what we called the middle of the flour, the 90 nutrients plus that. And they got a little smarter. They said blood sugar control pack or healthy blood sugar pack and that, and it just contributed easier to people. They came to me and said, Mark, I need help with my blood sugar. How can I do it? And I knew that, and then I developed my own tier program of if they were not having great success on the blood sugar pack, that I would add a product called Cell Shield. Not only a very potent antihistamine, but the turmeric in there would also help with the blood sugars. And there's scientific studies out there. www.pubmed.gov is an excellent resource for putting ammo in your clip of health. But what happened even after that was I found out that after Youngevity added cinnamon to the sweeties, they came out with a very brand new supplement called Glucogenics. When I heard it, when we had Glucogel D, I thought Glucogenics was like for the bone. And then I got into it. So, but I think we'll go over that one at another time because we only have 5 minutes, and I really want you to finish. So, tell people what you eat, brother.
What I eat? Oh,
yeah.
Well, I follow the good food, bad food. So
yep.
I definitely stay away from wheat, barley, rye, oats, overcooked meats, particularly overcooked red meats. But funny thing about that is I find that rare red meat does wonderful things for my blood sugar. Keeps me stable for long periods of time, even better than pork, even better than white meat or chicken. And I think that has to do with the fat content.
Yeah, because you need some fats, bro.
Yeah. We both know that one.
All right. I'll give you some of mine.
Yeah, transfuse it over. I'm cool with that.
All right.
And then I eat lots of vegetables. Is
there any one that you avoid? Are there vegetables that you avoid, D? How about potatoes?
Yeah.
Why potatoes?
I don't really consider potatoes to be a vegetable.
That's clever.
I do eat potatoes sometimes, but I don't.
I know, I watched you.
Yeah. But the big game changer for me when I started avoiding them was corn and, corn was a big one. Corn and lactose.
Yeah, those are two huge ones.
Yeah. I eat all the cheese. I eat all the cheese a 24-year-old could possibly want to eat, but I won't touch milk. I won't touch. I actually won't touch yogurt either.
Really?
I don't touch ice cream. Sour cream. I don't go for any of that except for butter, which I love to cook with, and cheese. So.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. So, you think some people eat a lot of eggs? Ask the genius. If he could eat eggs and steak, eggs and rare red meat all day, he would do it.
I would, but I have.
David and I, I'll tell a story, D. We got together recently in December for lunch, me, him, and his mom. And we've been friends for a while. And David and I ordered the same burger, and they had some great gluten-free selections as well. So the bun was gluten-free. And the lady goes, "How would you like your burger done?" And he goes, "As rare as the cook will let it be." It was just not rare. It's as rare as he could comfortably make it for his comfort. Because
he's allowed to make it.
I know, and I think I went rare with you, bro. I didn't say it quite that way, but I was raring it right with you, and we ate the garlic mashed potatoes and the taya. That's the taya, the white potatoes. Kind of gave D a little bit of a spin there, and but he did fine. So it was delicious. It was good fellowship. Remember, when you fellowship with people, eat good food. When you fellowship with people and they're not eating good food, you need to be prudent about saying thank you. But that's not part of what I eat right now because I'm achieving some health goals. And you can leave it right at that. Be humble, but keep the high ground. That's what I always tell people. So that's very, very important. As with me, I started feeling it a little bit more now. I had no issues. David said he feels it when he doesn't take a squeeze. If I get one of my earlobes starts turning red and gets warm, I knew what was happening. And surprisingly enough, later on in my mom's life, as she battled with a liver tumor and that, or even before that, we were talking when I was visiting, and my mom said, my ear's getting like really warm. I said, yeah. I said, you just ate this and this. And it was something that could very definitely, less than white flour for her that I wouldn't eat, something kind of cracker or something, like a few crackers and that. And I said, Mom, guess what? Your sugar's going up because that's what happens to me. So whether that's hereditary or not, I don't know. It was a good red light. It's kind of like the check engine light on your car. And for like, wow, I guess Dr. Glidden would say, I cut the cable on that check engine light, and that's bad news. On your body check engine light, we need to pay attention because it's going to do something in the long run. And, we see people that diabetes causes a whole lot of trouble. It affects every system in your body, some more than others. We always see a lot of people on dialysis. Their kidneys have shut down. They're all gummed up, and people go blind or have very limited eyesight. The nerves get a lot of pain in their feet, and that because with all the inflammation and that's going on from the high blood sugars, we get a little less blood flow, and I'm sure they're cold too. Yeah. So anyway, I think that everybody should be aware that if you utilize your blood sugar optimally in your body and promote your immune system, that life is going to be absolutely grandiose for you, physically, and then again, as warriors, we're emotionally and physically, emotionally and spiritually concerned with our health as well, that health, because we know that needs to be a great balance with that. So anyway, hey, I hope you guys have had a great discussion. David, thanks again for sharing, brother. And hey, watch for David Sullivan on the WarriorZ page. Don't bug him so much because I want him to do his homework. So don't pelter him so much. I want him to get his homework done. He's been on a long run. I just want him to be the best he can be, and I know he will. Or his mother will make him. Trust me. We got a well-balanced family in that Sullivan house. We got his brother Derek in veterinary school, and we're proud of Shaggy as well. That's his nickname. And your prayers lift up David and Derek, and pray that they just become the human sponges that they already are. Anyway, anybody got anything else they need to bring up?
No.
I'm good.
You're good? Anybody extra good? Anybody super good?
I am.
You are. Yes.
Oh, yes.
I need to hear.
Yes.
I need to hear. We need to hear Andrea laugh. Is what we need to do. That's on purpose.
I laughed. I laughed out.
I know.
I laughed earlier, but I was muted.
I know. So you can hear yourself laugh in a great way. I'm just kidding. I got muted as well. Don't feel bad. We get a lot of background noise. Michelle's hot on that button, but and we're happy about that.
And before we go, can we get a quick description of what insulin is?
Sure. Go ahead, David. I did say it was a hormone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Produced by the pancreas.
Insulin is this transparent fluid that acts as we were explaining, as the key to your cells. And this is produced predominantly in the pancreas, though studies are indicating that we actually have beta cells all over our bodies. And beta cells are what produce insulin.
Yeah.
And so that insulin is dumped into the small intestine or into the bloodstream in order to help the sugar break down.
Right. But when everything's breaking down, like we have leaky gut and the inflammation in there, so it limits everything. Just like when you have plaques in your arteries, especially in your aorta, where heparin's produced, it keeps your blood thin so you don't get blood clots. We limit the body. So we got to turn out the fire. AD, I think it's time for Where's the Fire? I think it's time for that one. I think it's time for it's time for the commander to fire up the fireplace since it's so cold. And we'll do one called Where's the Fire? I don't know when and where. We're still trying to get the doggy one together. I gotta get these people coordinated, and I just found a person to give a great testimony about a pet. And I know there's all the great ones out there. A lot of people with some great stories, but we'll bring that on how pets heal us. I'm still trying to work that in there. Please forgive me, warriors. And let's pray out. Most loving Father, you give us so much, Father. You give us wisdom. You give us love. You give us grace. You give us the privilege to repent, Father, when we fall down, whether it's mostly physically or spiritually, Father. We pray today that you help us honor our temples in a great way that's pleasing to you, especially today, an extra measure of comfort to everybody who is struggling with utilizing their blood sugars in their body. May we impact them in a great way, and that I get 1 million emails on people that desire help in that area, Father. We don't need to have this issue, Father, if people would just, again, we know with your help. You've given us the substances on this earth to help combat this ailment, Father, and we just need you to help us utilize them in the best way and not succumb to free will, of course. We're grateful for all the people that joined us tonight, the people that will listen to the broadcast. We're grateful for Michelle in the booth. I'm grateful to Andrea. Father, I know you gave her extra measures of comfort this week. And Tracy, with her dilemma last week, Father, you got her through that because she's laughing too, and that's good to hear. David's healthy. Thank you for that, Father. Thank you for letting us be friends, Father. All these great people, and lift up everybody again in the assembly in the kingdom that are struggling, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Let us impact them in the greatest way possible through your word and through your wisdom. Father, I'm grateful for wisdom that you gave me, the chance to reflect and offer information during the hour of power. And it's in your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, and join us on the hour of power every Thursday at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. We look forward to having you. And be sure to share with people that you know that are suffering. Tell them that you love them, and you know a doctor that can help you heal. Yeah, this is Mark Denning, a.k.a. the Commander. You guys have a great week. Thanks for joining us.
Search for a friend, someone to confide. What I did not know is you were there all the time.